Today would be a really good day to, arrest the cops that murdered Breonna Taylor. That one was demonic. Starting out dark this episode.
Hey, hi, hello. You're listening. Oh my god.
Again, that's fine.
I overshot it. I was too excited. Hey, hi, hello. This is Chloe from Barrio Letterpress, and you are listening to Professionally Unprofessional. Did I get it?
You got it. That's good. Hey, hi, hello, it's Tokencarnie. Welcome back to another episode of Professionally Unprofessional. In this week's episode, we get to talk to Chloe from Barrio Letterpress, which I cannot wait for y'all to see this one. I had so much fun filming this with her. She is such a good friend. Chloe and I go like forever and a half back. We went to a summer camp together. Remember when I talked about that? We both worked there. She was in the art department. I was in the circus department. So logically, we were good friends. We also both have such an immense sense of sarcasm that like instant bonding. Love her dearly. Chloe has started a company called Barrio Letterpress, which brings the art form of heirloom letterpress paper products. I'm gonna let her describe it so I don't fuck it up, but like beautiful, absolutely stunning. The shit that this woman makes is absolutely incredible. I'm so happy to see her company grow, and I'm super excited to bring you the story of how Barrio Letterpress came to be and to give you kind of an insight to that paper art craft world. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because we are going to be giving away one of her Manifest Magic kits, which we will have pictures of. I will put them somewhere in here for you. I don't know. We all know I'm not good at editing. We'll figure that part out later. Guys, if you want to see the entire interview, and the entire interview is crazy. Like, Chloe and I spent a good 25 minutes just like kikiing before we actually start anything. So if you would like to see that whole thing, please go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Redhead Runaway, or you can find it in the description below, and that will take you to see the entire uninterrupted video. And you get to just see some fun behind the scenes footage of, you know, what it means to be a professional and to code switch, as Chloe will explain later, in between having that like, I'm a boss, this is what I do, like my husband and I make fun of each other, like things like that. It's a blast. The interview was so much fun. I have so many fun quotes from it. I'm so excited to share this, guys. So just like watch it and stuff. Before we get into the interview, make sure that you like and subscribe to the Redhead Runaway channel so you never miss anything. Hit that notification bell or sign up for our newsletter in the description box so that you can be sent updates the second they come out and you'll never miss a thing or giveaway that we might be doing. Without further ado, let's dive right on in.
It's Chloe. And scene. Okay.
Anyway, hi, how are you? Who are you? Tell us what you do.
So, like I said, I'm Chloe. I am a New York/New Jersey based stationer. I know it's America's armpit. I am
from New Jersey now.
I know. Sorry. Listen. I'll get into that. It's fine. But how I honor my New York roots is through Barrio Letterpress. All right. So, Barrio Letterpress is a graphic design and printing firm where we specialize. I'm the only person who works for Barrio Letterpress. So I specialize in 3 things: wedding stationery, everyday personal stationery, and also brands. So I do a little bit of everything when it comes to design. But my really, really, really the thing I'm really super passionate about is printing my designs. And so a lot of my offerings have a printed component where I letterpress print them, which is a very tried and true traditional style of printing. And it takes a lot of energy, effort. I'm literally like feeding the machine one piece of paper at a time, trying not to get my fingers chopped off.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, you know, I like
time to get your letters.
I actually got into letterpress because I am a very big fan of like hands-on tactical experiences, and also kind of like hard-earned things. Like I used to love like helping my dad remodel cars and like repainting rooms and DIY stuff. And so when I found letterpress printing, or I should say it found me, I was like, oh, that looks like really hands-on and tactical. I want to try that. And I was hooked like from day one. So that was really awesome find for me. It helps give me like all the satisfaction that I need.
And how long have you been doing it? Like, when did you first start doing it to when did you create your business? Like, how long of a process has this been?
So I started in probably like late 2017, early 2018. And that was also like right around the first time I letterpress printed. So it's only been a couple of years, but it's something that I've been kind of like researching, making sure I have every opportunity to try new things, and really like pouring all of my hard-earned money into. Just because it is kind of an older art form, it's hard to like track down equipment and even experiences that require it. It's also like pretty expensive to do. So that's something I'm like really dedicated to doing, and I make sure that I factor all that stuff in so that I can gain the practice and the experience that I need to be able to offer it at a high quality experience to my clients.
Well, the stuff that I have seen you put out is absolutely beautiful. So for example, you just made those little they were blue and yellow. Yes, those. Exactly. Yeah. So explain how you made those, like how long it takes to make them, how much they cost to make, like material wise, and then what an average purchase for them would be. I mean, if you don't want to go into DOP and be like, I make them for 10 cents but sell them for $20, like don't worry about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But explain how you do it.
Luckily, they're not that cheap to make, and I didn't price them correctly, so there's that.
Learn it.
So part of the letterpress process is actually each color on a print is done like one at a time. And so when I got the idea for the Manifesting Magic kit, which are a set of affirmation cards, I kind of was excited by how much work was going to go into them. So it's a set of 18 cards. Each card has its own affirmation written on it. Mm-hmm. And there are multiple approaches I could have taken, which a letterpress plate is priced according to the square inch. So the bigger the square inch, or number of square inches, the more expensive the plate was going to be. So I had to find a way to make it like very strategic in my approach. And that's kind of how the kit was born, because I was like, I have to limit the number of affirmations. Like there are thousands of affirmations that I think people could benefit from, but I really created a list of like 18 to 20 that I was like, these will be helpful for a day-to-day practice of manifesting positive mindset, of manifesting abundance, manifesting just like generally good vibes in your life. And so what I did was I designed everything. I bought all the paper. I bought all the branding materials, the packaging. And it really was a labor of love, because each kit takes individually, probably like an hour and a half worth of time to create. And I made 50 of them. And so assembling everything and doing all that was just like such a labor of love, and they did really well, and people really responded to them well and loved them. So I was really grateful for that reaction. So I wanted to create something that could be a low cost investment in letterpress for people. A letterpress print, generally speaking, if you go to like Etsy or Google and search like letterpress art print, you're going to pay roughly $30 for just like one 5x7 or 8x10 print. And I really think that letterpress is something that everyone should have access to, because I do think it's such a beautiful and tactile art form. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to price these accordingly so that it wouldn't be so daunting, but also I feel like the positivity that is spread through them, I wanted everyone to have access to that. So they're priced approximately like $27 with tax.
Yeah, but that's not bad.
I didn't think so. And they sold out, so I guess it wasn't.
And how many did you make? How many sets of it did you make?
So I just made 50. for the first run.
I mean,
but
that's not bad. That's not bad for your first time.
it's not bad, but they were so expensive to make. I also didn't charge for shipping on the first round, and I also my love language is gift giving, and so anyone who pre-ordered Manifesting Magic kit, I also sent them like a crystal to kind of like channel those positive vibes into. And so I went into a local crystal shop that I love, Crystal on the Hudson, and they helped me like. So I'm really biased towards certain types of crystals because I'm like, this is so powerful for me. And so I was like, I'm just gonna get a bunch of these. And I was like, not everyone has the same energy I have. And so they helped me pick up.
The way that crystals work is like when you get them, if you have that energy into it, you're channeling that energy into it, and then you're giving them that. So it like it's a give and take thing. That's no different than if somebody's like, I love this particular piece of jewelry and I want to give it to you. And even if you yourself are like, that's not something I really like, you're gonna wear it because of the gift and the energy behind
intention.
It. Right.
Yes, exactly.
And that's one of those few things where like intention is everything.
And that was the thing. So the first time I went to the crystal shop, I was having like a fuddy-duddy day.
Cute.
And I was like, you know what? I don't have the right energy right now to be picking out crystals for other people.
Well, come
so
back.
I was literally like, you know what? And I went to the owner and I was like, thank you so much for like helping me. I just feel like my vibe is off today. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come back tomorrow and we're going to give it another shot tomorrow. And sure enough, on my way there the next day, I grabbed a Starbucks. I like kind of did a walk around the neighborhood. It was like a nice day. And this shop is like located on a really beautiful spot right near the Hudson. So you can like see the view and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back today and I'll just get the crystals. And I literally found one that reminded me so much of one of my good friends who ordered a kit. And when I saw it, I almost started to cry. And I was like, this has her like positive vibe in it. And so when I was getting them, I was like touching them and thinking about the people who I was shopping for. And it was just like it gave me so much, like that whole experience of creating the cards, packaging the cards, even talking about them on my Instagram stories. Like,
oh yeah, you were talking about them so much.
I was, and I think it was because the excitement was just like bubbling over. Like I even tried to keep it a secret until I was confident that was 100% what I was gonna do. And then I was like, I can't keep it a secret. Like I'm so ready for everyone to know. And that energy has just been like, it's been given back to me like tenfold, because since I created these cards, like so many people were saying, you know, I'm sending them to my best friend who I haven't seen in a year and a half because she lives XYZ place, or, you know, I don't know who I want to gift the other set to, but I bought 3 just in case, like, you know, it comes to mind to give one to somebody. Especially now during the quarantine and like the safer at home orders, people are sending pictures of me or pictures to me of the cards posted up at their desks. And I'm just like,
that's awesome. This
is like the most heartwarming situation that I could have ever imagined out of this little idea that came to me literally while I was I have these this planner that has like a spot for your weekly affirmation. And I was like, I have such a hard time committing to like a weekly affirmation because I'm
a daily person.
Just every day. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, my energy shifts up every day. I need like I would go through and like try to add like a squished one in the little line. I'm like, wow, it's this. And so then I was like, what if I just created my own like affirmation set? And it was really such a beautiful thing that came out of it that I can't wait. Like I bought a press almost entirely for the purpose of being able to add to the Manifesting Magic kit collection. And so I'm not sure if you're big into like personality tests or, you know, like we talked a little bit about horoscopes earlier.
We all know I am. We know I am. I'm such a hippie. I'm this like everything that you're saying is just lining up perfectly with me and the Redhead Runaway brand. So I'm here for all of this. I'm like, yes. And it's so nice to see that this little thing that you pour so much money and time and energy into, it's not just people supporting it and buying it because they're like, I want to support her because we care about, like, I've known you since what, 2009? Like, I've known you for a long, long time. And so I've always been a fan of you and your artwork and everything like that. So to see you do this and then see other people that are like, oh, I appreciate this is one thing. But then to see these people oh, I bought 2 or 3 because I want to give them to my friend and I want to do this. It goes beyond the I'm your friend and I'm supporting you to the I genuinely enjoy what you're creating. And then on top of it, you're getting such a amazing connection from like going to pick the crystals and putting them together and packaging them, and then these people are genuinely feeling that like you're taking such care of your customers that it is no shock to me to see you continuing to grow and like more people being interested in this. Not to mention the photos and everything that you've posted, and all Facebook and Instagram, all of those things will be in the details, so you'll all be able to see them. But everything that you've put out is truly beautiful. Like you're doing great stuff. And right now you're doing the sketches, right? The drawn. Okay, so talk about those.
So these portraits, I'm not gonna lie, they were started out of like a selfish need for meditation. But I'm okay with it, because part of what I found myself doing through everything is I'm someone who, I'm a helper. So when I need help, I shut down, because I'm like, who can help me better than I help other people? Mm-hmm. And it's just like a mental block that I get into sometimes. And so when I found myself feeling overwhelmed, I was thinking like, what are things that I've done in the past to help me like de-escalate myself? And when I actually, this is something I've talked about on my Instagram, but a couple years ago, I didn't accidentally quit my job. I very intentionally quit my job. I very intentionally quit my job, but unintentionally ended up unemployed for 6 months. And that was the hardest thing. Like, I've had a job since I was 14 years old. Literally, my 14th birthday, I went to the Dunkin' Donuts by my high school and I was like, are you hiring? And so I've always had a job, and finding myself in an unemployed place with a 5-month-old, I was like, what did I do? Like, this was a mistake. And one of the only things I really had to provide me any kind of comfort was my iPad, which I basically had to con my mom into buying for me.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I very lovingly told her, like, I promise I will pay you back. But I need this to help me get my business off the ground. And that's actually when Barrio was born. And so she calls it her investment, which I'm like, okay, I accept.
That's fine. We'll take that.
Yeah,
you get one.
You
get one.
As long as you know I'm not actually going to pay you back, everything's great.
Yeah, but she'll be able to see this later and be like, I did that. I bought the iPad.
No,
I'm the reason.
Actually, it's funny because she saw the portraits I was doing and she was like, you did that on your iPad? And I was like, the one that you bought for me. Like, I definitely played it up a little bit.
Constantly remembering, like, oh, right, I have to make her know that this is because of her.
Exactly. And sometimes I'll be like, yeah, the iPad that you gave me as a gift. And she just gives me like a dirty look. I'm like, I love you.
Back to our previous conversation. You love me. You love me.
Remember that, because you cherish and you created this.
I am your offspring. I am your flesh and your blood.
Exactly. I'm like, this iPad puts food on your grandson's table. You're welcome. But no, I mean, what the thing that's great about the portraits is I've had people say, like, I don't know which picture to choose, or like which memory I want to capture, or, what I want to have you sketch up. And I feel like it's giving people an opportunity to reflect on like important moments to them, which has been really powerful. I had a family, someone reach out and say, like, I really want to give my mom a portrait of my grandmother who just passed away. And that's like a topic that that's very near and dear to my heart. I lost my grandmother a 1.5 years ago, and my other grandmother, she's in a steady decline because of dementia. And so immediately I was like, absolutely. And she said, the only problem is I don't have a picture of my grandma with both of her daughters. I just have pictures of them separate. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, in the illustration, I can draw them together. So it's no problem. And she was just overjoyed at the fact that, that was something could be made possible. And so I'm just, my heart strings are stretched very thin right now, because it's very fulfilling to bring people joy. I know it's simple, like the drawings themselves are not like overly detailed or anything like that, but it brings people like a little, a little burst of happiness. And even if you just like set it as your wallpaper on your cell phone or something like, seemingly trivial like that, I think to me it's more the connection with people, and that actually ties into why I call my company Barrio. And I guess just a little back story for anyone who doesn't speak Spanish is Barrio is the Spanish word for neighborhood. And even if you Google this, don't Google it, because on Google it says like a low income community.
They're like, so mean. They compare it to like a ghetto.
Exactly.
And it's not. It's not.
And I thought about like the origins of like when we first started referring to neighborhoods as barrios and which neighborhoods get referred to as el barrio. And so I was like, you know what, don't take it personally, it's fine, but I'm changing the narrative. Because for me, it's built upon the neighborhood aspect. I'm connecting people through my art, right? When I make a wedding invitation for somebody, the intention is that you're sending it out and you're connecting with your friends and family to invite them to your wedding. So to me, it's about that piece. The connection that is possible through art and paper is, to me, very intrinsic. Like, I know we live in a digital age where you send emails a million times a day,
but that can't beat it. That can't beat it.
And so that's my mindset, is like, we can't replace paper correspondence and, like a tactile experience with emails.
Yeah, but at the same time, one, you've sold out so far of the things that you have made, so obviously she's doing something right. And two, there's, especially in something like right now, having somebody send you a text message to check in on you and having somebody send you a piece of art that was selected for that person, they're two totally different things. Absolutely. There's a completely different thing, and like you said, it connects you no matter how far apart you are, because I'm in California and you're, on the East Coast.
Thank
completely far. I'm trying. I was like, I don't want to slander her. So, we're so far apart and we've stayed in touch this entire time. Yeah. So I think it's a perfect name for you. Like, and for me, being the lovely little white boy I am, although I do speak multiple languages, my first experience with understanding the actual, like, what it means to be part of that was from In the Heights.
Yeah.
Because they talk about
I have an In the Heights tattoo.
Oh, look at her.
Just know that's very on brand for me, because I fucking love In the Heights.
Right.
And I can act out the whole thing by my damn self.
As you should. That's my first experience with seeing this and being like, oh, that's not somewhere I want to be, versus watching just the family connection that there was between all these different people in there. So the second I saw your company's name, I was just like, hands down, 100%. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what she stands for, because I've known you for so long. And I think people listening to this, people watching this and seeing and hearing how emotional you get talking about the things you make is just a further, no, it's totally awesome. I think it's a further testament to the fact that this is a labor of love, and this is you trying to connect people, just like you said, papercraft and art in a digital age. Like, I don't know a single person that's gonna get one of your things and be like, oh my god, thank you. Like, they're not gonna be like that. It's an avocado. Like, there's not gonna be that moment.
God, that's my favorite video. It's an avocado. Thanks.
How do you get into it? Like, what's the whole process of letterpress? Because the way you've described it, it sounds very similar to screen printing for t-shirts, where it's like each color is an individual thing, but this is a paper craft. So, choking on that. Okay, I can breathe. Is it like embossing and things like that? Does that all go into it, or is it like a multi-layered?
So it's pretty similar to embossing. In fact, a lot of people will see something that's embossed and think it's letterpress, and vice versa. Typically, the difference is that embossing is just like much deeper impression into the paper. And I think that's where I actually have like quite a bit of content planned, where I'm going to be showing like the background process. But essentially what happens is every letterpress machine has some form of a clamp or a roller that's going to apply pressure to something that looks like a stamp. And you have to use very soft paper. So all the like manifesting magic cards, they're made out of 100% cotton stock. So this paper is like purely made from cotton. This particular one that I use is made out of garment district like cutoffs. So any of like and things like that. Yes, trying to save
eco-friendly products.
And so yeah, the ink run is actually very similar to screen printing in that everything is done in layers and individually. And that to me is what makes it, like, I'll say it, I'm not afraid to say it. When you pay for letterpress, you're paying for the time it takes. You're not paying for like the materials necessarily.
See, but it's so cool that you have your own business now where you get to set the prices and do that. And, you know, yes, you talked about how expensive it was to make the manifesting magic cards. However, you sold out of all of them, so there's obviously a demand for there. So now you know that, yes, people want these. Yes, people are going to want more. So if you raise the price on it, I don't think people are going to be mad at it. And that's how businesses work. It's like you build a product and it goes, I mean, because nobody's going to sit here and be like, oh, my Louboutin is $1,200 and that's overpriced. Like, you're paying for the name and the brand associated with it. So that's the same thing with you. So I think this is a great starting point because you're not starting terribly low. And you're putting quality and time and everything into what your customers are getting, they're going to want more. So tell me more about this layered process.
So this is what a plate looks like
those are so
when I first get them. And then I cut them like according to, you know, what I'm going to be printing at the time. So like this one, for example, is a map of Sacramento. And this is actually the back side of a wedding invitation. And so on the front of the invitation, we'll have like all the details and everything. And then the back is going to be a letterpress map because they're very connected to the city of Sacramento. That's where they live. That's where they're getting married, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what the actual plate looks like. And depending on which machine I use to print this, what's going to happen is the roller that's inked up is going to roll past this and put the ink on it like a stamp. And then the second sort of pass through is going to push the piece of paper over the top of it like that, where it gets the impression put on it. And then when it comes out the other side, it pops up almost like a toaster and you grab the paper and you're like, oh my God, beautiful.
That's so cool.
It's such a like physical process. You know, like a lot of time, actually, I just bought a press from a guy who has 2 artificial hips, because one of the types of letterpress printing presses is operated by a pedal that you have to like push with your leg. And he's been operating them so long that he's had 2 hip replacements.
Oh.
And I'm like, either your joints was bad before or letterpress really fucks up your body. And he was like, it's a combination of both, but certainly would not have required 2 hip replacements if I wasn't a letterpress, like a printer. A press operator is the like technical title.
Thanks so much to Chloe for being here. Make sure to check out our podcast on Wednesday for part 2, and we will see you back here on Friday for part 2 of Chloe's interview. Okay, bye! Why? So gassy today. Lady. She looks beautiful and she doesn't act that way. Hi, Mom. Fuck me. I was gonna say something and now I don't remember it. We're gonna be giving away one of her Manifest Magic Manifest. We're gonna be giving one away. Fuck. Fuck that. That's stupid. I don't remember what I'm doing. She put all this makeup on and doesn't know how to do anything. Yodi. I can't. Am I just gonna say it over and over again? Like, Barrio. Baby. That's all I think of. Anybody else? I'm so good at this. Yeah.